Have you ever really stopped to think about what connects your phone, the servers that stream your favorite show, and even the ATM you use at the bank? Well, here's a little secret of the digital world. Almost everything is run by just a handful of core systems. So today, we're going to uncover them. All the complexity, all the innovation, it pretty much boils down to just 8 families of operating systems. I mean, from the supercomputers that forecast the weather to the very phone in your pocket, they all come from one of these 8. I know, it sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, right? But it's the central mystery we're solving today. And the answer is that each one of them relies on a very specific operating system, a specialized tool that was built for a very specific job. So, what exactly is an OS anyway? Well, think of it as the brain of your device. It's the manager, the boss, the one that tells all the hardware what to do. It runs your apps, and it's the only reason you can actually interact with the machine. Without it, your laptop is just a very, very expensive paperweight. All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the systems you probably see every single day. Then we'll get into the choice for the power users. After that, we're going to jump into the whole mobile universe. And finally, we'll uncover the ancient ancestors of them all. Let's kick things off with the 2 absolute giants of the personal computer world. I mean, there's a very good chance you're using one of them at this very moment. First up, of course, is Microsoft Windows. Launched way back in 1985, it has since become the most widely used OS on the entire planet. Its greatest strength is just its sheer versatility. It runs on a mind-boggling range of PCs from countless brands, and it handles everything from your office spreadsheets to super intense gaming. And its main rival, macOS. Now, unlike Windows, macOS is completely exclusive to Apple's own hardware. And that strict control is what allows Apple to create that famously stable, fluid, and polished experience, which is why it's such a favorite for creative pros who use powerful apps like Final Cut Pro or Logic Pro. So what it all really comes down to is a trade-off. With Windows, you get freedom of choice. You can pick your hardware, and the software compatibility is just massive. But it's also the biggest target for viruses and, oh yeah, those infamous super invasive updates. On the other hand, macOS gives you this incredibly secure, polished experience, but it totally locks you into Apple's expensive ecosystem, and let's be honest, it's not the best for gaming. But what if you don't want to be stuck with the choices made by either Microsoft or Apple? Well, that brings us to the customizable alternative. Okay, now let's talk about Linux. The absolute most important thing you need to know about it is that it's open source. What that means is its fundamental code, its DNA, is free for anyone to see, to change, and to share. And that philosophy has created this incredible world of endless customization and community-driven development. And you find Linux in some really fascinating places. It's basically the backbone of the entire internet, powering the servers for giants like Google and Facebook. It's the go-to for programmers and cybersecurity experts. Oh, and because it's so lightweight, it's perfect for bringing old, slow computers back to life. So what's the catch? Well, it definitely has a steeper learning curve, so it's not always the friendliest for total beginners. All right, let's shift gears and talk about the systems that were built for our modern, always connected lives. The ones that live in our pockets and on the internet. First up is Google's ChromeOS, which is the brain inside every Chromebook. It's designed to be super simple, super fast, and to live almost entirely in the cloud. It boots up in seconds, and it's very secure, mainly because most of your data isn't on the machine, it's on Google servers. The major downside? If you don't have an internet connection, its functionality becomes, well, extremely limited. And now for the mobile heavyweights, Android and iOS. This is the ultimate battle between personalization and simplicity. Android, being open source, gives you endless customization across a huge range of phones and tablets. But that openness can sometimes lead to inconsistent updates and annoying pre-installed bloatware. iOS, on the other hand, is what they call a walled garden. It's secure, simple, and beautifully optimized, but it's also very restrictive and locks you into Apple's pricey hardware. So we've covered all the systems that we see and use pretty much every day. But where in the world did they all come from? It's time to meet the ancestors. This is Unix. Developed way back in the late 1960s at AT&T, it was a totally revolutionary system designed for multitasking and multiple users at once. You are not going to find this on a consumer laptop. It's a powerhouse engine used by massive corporations, banks, and research centers to process just enormous amounts of data. And here's exactly why you don't run Unix at home. The licensing costs are astronomical. For just a medium-sized company, the cost could easily soar to over 1.5 million Brazilian reais. We're talking hundreds of thousands of US dollars. It's a tool for heavy-duty, critical infrastructure, not for checking your email. Now from Unix, a new family was born, BSD. Developed at the University of California, Berkeley, it's open source, just like Linux, and it's prized by tech specialists for its incredible stability. And trust me, you have definitely used it, probably far more than you even realize. Ever wonder how Netflix streams movies to millions of people all at once so smoothly? That's BSD, managing their content servers. Are you a gamer? Well, both the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 run on a system that comes directly from BSD. It's the powerful, invisible engine behind some of the biggest tech you use every single day. And this family tree, it just connects everything. Think of Unix as the great-grandfather of computing. BSD is its direct descendant. And macOS, that polished, super user-friendly system from Apple, is built on a foundation of Unix and BSD technology. The old masters are still very much alive inside our modern machines. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that there is no single best operating system. It just doesn't exist. A serious gamer needs Windows, a video editor might prefer a Mac, a developer could swear by Linux, and a company like Netflix needs the raw industrial power of BSD. Each one is a specific tool built for a specific job. Which, of course, brings us to the final and most crucial question. Based on what you do and what you value, whether that's freedom, simplicity, raw power, or price, which one of these operating systems is the right tool for you? We'd honestly love to know what you think. Are you a Windows loyalist, an Apple enthusiast, a Linux adventurer? Let us know down in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.
Don't forget to like, follow, drop a comment, and check the links below. Check the description, comment, or profile now.